mic's on. Very good.
Oh, and you all want to sing that Presley song there with John? John, that was so good.
It was, all of you guys.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you,
You guys
Justin.
leaving now?
Bye, guys.
Where
Bye.
you going?
You're awfully quiet. Hi, Scotty. You can
Wow,
stay.
I thought they were going to be.
Oh, there goes Scott. There he goes.
Okay. How is everybody? Pretty good?
Oh, we got a woo over here somewhere.
Welcome to Daybreak. Those online, welcome. Let's give it up to those guys. Yeah. We love having all of you. Having you to either watch or be here. Can you believe Easter's almost here?
No. Where
Wow.
does time go?
You know what? I don't know if this sounds right. I don't know if I'm going to present it right, but I've made a couple of mistakes before. But Easter would be a great time to come back to church.
That's right.
Don't you think?
Oh, yeah,
You
man.
guys agree here? Yeah. Be a great time to come back to church. And I can't wait for Easter. I think it's going to be one
It's
of the...
been a year. We didn't have Easter last year.
It's been 2 years. Yeah, it's been 2 years since we've had Easter.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that right?
I'll figure that out in a minute.
Is that right? I don't know if that's right.
March to March is 1 year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
But
I'm glad
we
I've got-
missed one Easter.
That's what I mean.
Okay,
That's
so let's
what I
stick
mean.
with one. Let's
We
just
always
stick-
have Easter every year.
We're wasting our time.
Yes, we
Good
are.
gosh.
We're moving right along here. But you guys know what I mean. What happened? You
Now
okay?
that, turn it over again.
Ooh, there you
No,
go.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'll hold you, babe.
No,
I'll
no.
be glad to hold you.
Yeah, I bet.
So, Easter is coming up, and it's a great time to come home, right? It's
Yes.
time to come back to
We're
church.
safe. We've had our shots.
Yep, we're
it's
ready.
Clean.
It's
Yeah.
very clean.
It is.
You know, I appreciate all the people that
Our volunteers are
that go
great.
through and clean
Yes.
all the chairs after all the services.
Yes.
And make this place sterile.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the right-
Sterilized.
Sterilized. Well, I'm glad I've got you up
I
here
think
today.
maybe we stick to the
Just-
script.
Yeah, stick with the script.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. And Wednesday night, I can't wait to see what you're going to do Wednesday night. It's
I
going to
can't
be
wait
great.
either.
In a couple of weeks, we're going to have the whole band there. They're
Yep.
going to be with us at the house.
At the house.
And
Cooking away.
Lou Moose is going to be teaching one of his favorite dishes. So
Yep.
that's
and
going to be...
the whole band's going to be with us.
Yeah, and we're going to have
Yeah.
dinner together. That's
Yep.
going to be really cool. You'll get to be with us. So you plan to have your dinner at your house, and we'll just all have dinner like a big date.
A big Italiano dinner.
Yeah, this is right before
Mwah.
Easter. Right before Easter.
Right,
So
right before
yeah,
Easter.
this will be really cool.
Uh-huh.
Really cool. So, Claudia, how do you think we're doing so far with the second installment of the Second Happy? How do you
Well,
feel?
the first service went okay.
Yeah. Well, we won't tell them about the first service. We get a second
get
second
some-
try
okay,
here.
there you
So, if you haven't picked up, man, these books really flew out of the bookstore
Excellent,
last week, and I think
excellent.
we've got replacements in there. But it's excellent. We're using this book to help us kind of guide us through this series. And you know, the thing about really this book, the thing I've discovered about Kevin and Marcia Myers is that they wrote this not just for marriages, but for relationships.
All
For
kind-
a
yes.
single person, a person getting ready to date, a person that's lost their date,
Well,
a
it's not
person
just
that's
that.
set
just
a
any
date.
Any relationship.
I'm just playing off the word
Yeah,
date there for you.
I got that. Yeah.
So, relationships.
Yes.
Relationships. So, let's get started.
Let's get okay.
Can you remember back when we first started our marriage?
No, I can't answer.
We had
that.
nothing.
No, we didn't. We had zip.
We had nothing.
No furniture, no house,
Didn't
no
have a
job,
car?
no car,
No money.
no money.
You had $500 in your
Yes.
account.
Yes, I did.
It's kind of still that way.
My account flourishes and his doesn't. No, I'm teasing.
Yeah. Well, I'm buying so many things for you.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens.
Thank you, darling.
But that's what happens. But in college, she had
Let's see,
$500
buy
in her checking account, and she never spent it on anything. She was as tight could be.
See, he considers that tight. I consider that good stuff.
Yeah,
because we
she
ever
was
get a
investing
car.
in it.
Yeah.
But we took that money and put it down on a brand new Volkswagen. It was a yellow
called him
Bug.
Bumble. He was yellow with a black
And that was our
stripe.
first car.
Yeah.
And so here we go. Here we go. Well, truthfully, we didn't know what it took to make a great marriage. I mean, you know, I'm sure you looked at your parents as models, and I looked at my
Not
parents
really.
as models, and somehow we converged in the center and tried to have a great marriage. I mean, that's what we had to go with. But let's go a little bit further here. We didn't know what it took to have a solid marriage. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Are solid marriages, what are they built on? Solid relationships and those that are not so solid. So how do you build a solid marriage? How do you build a solid marriage that will go the distance? And I think there's a lot of people today, when you consider most marriages in America today are not doing so well. And they're finishing up way too early. It's kind of like going to the doctor and say, how can I trash my body so that it would induce pain and suffering? Or how can I as a single person be unattractive and nauseating to potential dates? Or how can I say to my financial counselor, can you guide me into financial ruin? Because that's really what I'm trying to do. I want to ruin my financial picture.
No sarcasm at all in those
No,
questions.
I know. Or to a marriage counselor, could you give us some guiding principles that would destroy our marriage? You know, that's kind of the way I see it though today. I kind of see it like we're not getting on the right foot. We're not starting the right way. And we end up just destroying our marriage because we don't have the right principles. So there we go.
Well, really, none of us ask these sort of questions because we want solid
But it looks like
lives.
people are asking those questions because that's the way they're ending up.
Okay, I'm going to proceed.
She gives me a certain look. It's like, you've said enough. You get to talk every Sunday. You give me a chance.
No. I don't care to be up here talking. But
You don't? Really?
Well, I mean, I
Wonder how the audience feels when
no,
you say that.
I didn't mean it to come out negative. I'm just saying it scares the living daylights out of me.
Oh,
and I don't,
no, you're not scared.
No, I'm not. Nope, don't get sick at
No.
all. Nope, that's right. Okay, let's go. None of us ask these sort of questions because we all want solid lives. Yet too many times we end up with a hollow life, a life that's not filled with Jesus or not filled with what he teaches. And by that happening, it affects our relationships that we're in. Somewhere along the way, we make decisions that make us solid or hollow. We are making the choices. We are demonstrating what we believe by the course of action that we take or what we practice. You know, we can say one thing, but our lives reveal another by our choices that we make.
So you're saying it's not what we say, but it's really what we act out,
well,
the
we
behavior.
can't say it, but we also need to do it.
Yeah. So the real proof is in how we
In the
carry
pudding.
out.
That's what
yeah,
you
how
say.
we carry out what we say we believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just say a lot of stuff and they don't really practice it. They just say it, right?
Right. Okay, let's do a little quiz. This is really hard, so get ready.
Teacher.
I want you to say the answer out loud. Solid or either hollow. Number one,
These are up here on the wall behind us.
everyone who hears the teachings of Jesus and puts them into practice gets a what kind of life or marriage? Oh, you're so good, especially this area right here. Okay,
Why did you say this area?
that's the only one I heard. I didn't hear anything going
Well,
on.
I heard some over there.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay,
did.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. But everyone who hears the teachings of Jesus and does not put them into practice gets a what type of life or marriage? Oh, you did so well, class. It really doesn't matter what you say. It's what you really believe and how you practice it, right?
So
Yeah.
you're saying words are cheap.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying that.
Okay.
Words are cheap. You can say a lot of stuff, but
Yes.
you don't put them into practice.
Right.
Words are cheap.
Yes.
And I've had a lot of people who come to me and
Give cheap words. They do. You sit there and you go, oh, dude.
Jesus teaches those some principles for how to carry out life, how to carry out a marriage. And again, that's the reason why we're using this book. And I would really encourage you. I just talked to a couple a while ago. I didn't know this is Audible too. Audible books. Is that the right words? Audible books. So
Yeah,
you can listen to the
somebody
book.
help us out there. I think
That's
so.
the kind of books I like.
Have you ever had one?
Yes, I've had one where you listen
Oh.
to it.
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
So you can get the book where you can just listen to it.
I should buy all your books. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go right ahead. I forgot where
So
you're at.
the point being this, before somebody distracted me, is that what Marcia and Kevin are teaching here, you know how you buy a house and after a little while you get bored with that house, or you just look at it and you see flaws in the house and you go, you know, this house really isn't all that cool. Honey, I think we ought to just go buy a new house. But instead, and we actually did this a few years ago when we lived in Georgetown Forest, which is just down the street here
Yep,
from our church.
yep.
We decided, actually, we got a little money together,
Yep.
saved a little money, and decided to remodel our house. Kind of like that couple in Waco, Texas. You know who I'm talking about?
Well, we
Not
didn't-
exactly
didn't
like them,
quite
but
model
we
like
got
that,
an
but
idea
yeah.
of what we would do. And so we redid the living room, the dining room, the
And we
kitchen.
shared last week how well we did the basement.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it was like the house is better than ever.
it was.
We did. We kind
Yeah.
of fell in love with it again.
We did. Yes.
And we even felt more in love with it when the boys left the house.
We did.
We did.
More space.
More space, and we
More-
really enjoyed
yeah.
it. But the point being this, it's the second cup that can even be better. It's the remodel house that can even be better. And guess what? That's applicable to marriage. It can be the second cup in your marriage, that redo, that do-over, that rebuild your marriage. Because what happens, and I've had couples to tell me this, said, Wes, we're bored with each other. I've actually had couples who've said, we don't love each other anymore. And
That's sad.
it's been stunning to me. But
Yeah.
as I've watched and as I have observed, I'm beginning to even understand that a little bit. And you know the reason is because they get bored with each other.
Yep.
They get tired of each other. They see the flaws in each other. And of course,
Yes.
we don't have flaws, do we?
No.
And so
No.
we just decide how to deal with this. But back to in love with the house. We reinvest in our house, and that's the same thing with marriage. We reinvest in marriage. Now, on the wall here, there's some things in this book, kind of like 7 principles. You want
Yes.
to give those?
Yeah, I will. These are 7 practices that we're going to be talking about that will help your marriage. The first one is break the quit cycle. Number 2, hands up prayer. Number 3, pick a fair fight, which we taught last week.
How'd you do with any of your fights this week? Did you do better? We had one this week.
Over donuts.
I wasn't going to share what it was.
Our fights are really unique. You know, they're not just horrible, but donuts.
What's that word?
Horrible. It's a big word for me.
I know it's a big word.
Well, what happened with the donuts, I think I talked about on Wednesday night. We stopped. Our son's family has COVID. And so we thought,
The whole
well,
group.
we'll go buy Krispy Kreme. And the one granddaughter called and said,
Wouldn't it be wonderful if they put a Krispy Kreme? Well, they did.
No,
They just
no,
opened
no.
Dunkin' Donut. Have you noticed the line around that place?
Yeah, uh-huh.
We went there the other night. It was the longest line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
ADD. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Oh, so Reese said, would you bring a pizza? I'm starving. Sure, we'll get you a pizza. How about some Krispy Kremes? Okay. So off we go. And when we pulled in, I said, Wes, get a dozen for them and a dozen for us. So he did. So we had 2 dozen.
A dozen for 4 and a dozen for 2.
Yeah, I think it sounds equal. And so anyway, we had a couple of donuts before we got over there. And I took the donut box and I laid it back here in the back seat of the truck on top of his box, or their box, whatever. And then as we slowed down, the box went and ended up in the floor.
I said, Chloe, what is that sound I just heard?
I said, well, the donuts just fell.
Donuts were rolling all over the floor in the back. She said, you need to keep your eyes on the road. You're going to have a wreck.
He says, but the donuts are rolling
They're
around.
rolling, I said, all over the floor. And I said, I can't imagine who was in this vehicle with dirty feet before.
I said, did you eat them?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
So anyway, I said the 20-second rule, you know, by the time we get to their home, we can pick them up and put them back in the box. I said, really, Wes, they're just donuts.
So we brought them home and we microwaved them. And, you know, I microwaved them. I microwaved them all because I thought that's going to microwave any
You
germ.
did not microwave them because of germs. You like them warm and soft.
I do. I like them warm and soft.
Yes.
But I figured the microwave killed any germ possibilities.
Quite possible, yeah, because we have so many people in
But
the back seat.
it got a little tense in the vehicle, the truck. And,
And with who
because
did it
I
get-
felt like you weren't careful enough.
Who got tense?
I did. I
Okay,
did. I'll
okay,
confess that.
okay.
I mean, we're all about truth here.
Okay, where were we going with this?
Yes. Number 4,
Oh, okay.
take a knee or two. Number 5, don't settle for the hollow Easter bunny. That's one we're going to deal with today. And number 6, evict the elephant. That's the last one we're going to do. I can't wait to get to that
I
one.
can't wait for that one.
Got something special there. Number 7, choose your bucket wisely.
Very good. We're doing 4 of these teachings on Sunday, and which you've already had 2, and you got 2 more. And the other 3 will be doing on Wednesday nights with the band at 7 o'clock.
You know, talking about Easter coming up here, Claudia, I want to ask the audience this question, and let's just kind of take a poll here. How many of you look forward to Easter because you always got like an Easter basket? Could I just see your hands for a moment?
You mean in the past or now?
It
'Cause I don't get any
It
basket
doesn't
now.
matter anymore.
It doesn't matter
I
any?
usually get you something. You know that.
You get me an Easter basket?
I get you something.
You give me chocolates so you can eat them. No, but he is sweet.
In our house,
He's precious.
all of us got like a little Easter basket.
yeah.
You know, my mom would take a shoe box and wrap it in aluminum foil and put little green grass in there, and we would have a little chocolate bunny.
My
How was
basket
yours?
wasn't like that.
What was yours like?
Mine was big.
Figured.
Stuffed pets.
Pets, yeah,
A
figured.
lot of those.
Yeah.
Not quite that big.
Talking about these right here.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of chocolate bunny rabbits here, and one of them is solid. I've always wanted a solid, but how many of you would love to have a solid bunny rabbit? Well, I've had one in my life. You've got to take like a knife
Oh, yeah,
and
they're
a hammer.
wonderful. Yes.
and,
yeah.
and drive it down to get a piece off of it.
Yeah.
And there's another one down here that's hollow. It's hollow. And well, let's do another survey. How many of you think this is the hollow one? And how many of you think this is a solid one? The one in your right hand, this is my right hand? Okay.
Yeah,
you think this
so
is
you're right.
what? Hollow. How many of you think this is a solid one? Okay. One's just lost their eye.
Oh, I like the eye
Yeah.
part.
So many of you think
Oh, he did.
that this one is the solid one, right? So let's just see here for a moment. Life in a marriage, I think, is a lot like this. When the pressure is applied, if it's hollow, what's going to happen?
It's good.
It's going to
Crash.
cave in. If it's solid, I'm not giving anything away. I'm just saying if this one is solid, it's not going to give in. It's just going to stay intact. But let's just find out. So life's stuff begins to be thrown at you, and pressure and tension and stuff.
Yeah.
I like the word stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It just begins to move in. Now, if it's solid, it's going to just stay solid. But if it's hollow, it's fooled you.
No,
Well,
you didn't know.
Actually, this one is hollow too.
Oh, Wesser.
Well, we could not get the solid one in time. So we just went with the two, and I was going to fake it and just act like this one was solid. But I felt bad for this group over
Yeah.
here because
And
they
you
said,
wanted to be truthful.
I wanted to be truthful.
Yes.
So let's just say this one is solid. This one, of course, you already know has caved in. And this is a lot like marriages. If principles, the right principles are in this solid one, it's not going to cave in. Doesn't mean there's not going to be storms come at this one, but it's not going to cave in. This one is hollow, and it's just going to keep caving in until finally this marriage will dissolve, and it will just kind of fall apart like that. Is it okay if I just take a bite? I mean, I like milk chocolate. Do you like milk chocolate? Do you like milk chocolate?
I like donuts.
You know what? I think I'm going to take you to Krispy Kreme today.
Oh, are you? You're so sweet.
So-
Okay. Oh,
Okay, here we go.
is it me? Okay. You know, as I was studying this message and the book and all that, you know, we look back and we've had our challenges, we've had our disagreements, we've had our fights naturally. If you say you don't,
She hates to use the word fight,
I do. I like to use the word disagreement.
but they're
He-
fights.
And he likes to use the word fights. Okay, so we don't want to get going on that or we'll end up in a fight. All right, so
Oh, that's cute.
but what I was thinking about, I have so many stories, but when we were first married, got married in July, so the first month, August. The end of July, he says to me, and you think you know each other, right? So the end of the month, he says, you know what? I'd like for us to take a bike trip.
Well, I'll tell you one reason I said this is because we had no money, and I really was convinced that taking a vacation on bicycles would cost us no money.
Oh, good
And it
gosh.
turned out to be opposite. By the time we got the bikes equipped
Yeah.
with all the
Well, that's back in the day when nothing was out there, so you had to carry
well,
everything.
we bought saddlebags and they were
Well,
expensive.
yeah, but you had to.
Yeah.
There was, yeah.
And
So-
a tent.
Okay, wait, can I tell the story?
Yes, I'm
I know
sorry.
it's hard. I know it.
I'm glad you're up here.
Are you?
I am.
Yeah, okay. And so anyway, he says, we'll train every day. I said, train what? And he says, we'll go out and ride. And we did. We rode several miles a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, so what's our goal? He goes, well, I'd like to get up north to Holland, Michigan. I said, Holland, Michigan, where's that? And so he told me, so in a week and a half, we did 565 miles. Now, now I'm not going to use the word promise because he doesn't. So I said to him before we left, the first day we were to leave in the morning, someone died in our church and had to have a funeral.
And when you have funerals, you don't put those on the calendar like 30 days ahead and say, well, I'll plan on a funeral here. When the funeral,
So I said, well, what
I didn't
time
get
are
to
we?
finish with
you
my
don't
part.
need to finish. So what time do I need to be ready? And I said, are we okay to?
I said, the funeral's
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock. It'll be finished at 5.
I said, are we go ride at night? No, we won't. We'll get off. We'll get to our destination. Okay. I said, so how many miles you think we'll do a day? Oh, we'll probably average 30.
I think I said 40,
Okay, 40. And so,
45.
so no, you did not. I wouldn't have gone. So anyway, funeral's over. We get on our bikes, and guys,
And another
it was
funeral
so
began.
late. It was so late that it was pitch
It
dark,
was. It turned dark.
black, and I had no lights on my bike, and you may have had one.
I did. I had a light on the front.
That's good. So I get smashed,
Well, I
and you
put you
don't.
behind me, so I would hit them first.
Oh, that's right. So anyway, what scared me, this is really weird. Now we're biking, okay?
We're
down this
traveling
country
from
road.
Bluffton, Indiana to a little state park called Salamone Reservoir.
That's right. Anyway, so we're driving, and it's dark, and you hear
Couldn't
these.
see a thing.
No, you couldn't.
we knew the
hit
road
bumps,
was
go off
there.
the road. You hear the animals like
Chasing us.
like the hogs, the pigs, I guess,
How'd they go?
all the way down. And I'm thinking, are they going to come over this fence? And then the horses, and I'm thinking, what is out there? What's going on?
Animals, farm animals.
So how long did we ride? 9, 10 o'clock at night?
We did,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. So then the next day, remember, 30 to 40 miles a day. The next day we did 93 miles. Okay, so far, strike 2. And then, I forget what happened. I won't go into that one. And so we did end up
We made
getting our
it to Holland,
mileage.
Michigan.
Yes, we did.
In fact, we went out there yesterday to kind of
No.
look up the area that we camped in, and it's closed off. They
I
haven't
didn't
opened
go
it
out
up
there
yet.
looking for the camp area, but
I
you?
I looked at it.
Did you?
Yeah, it's all full of sand right
Well,
now.
honey, this is the time of year it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so anyway, what I'm telling you that is that I married a man that
You're talking like it's another person.
I married Wes.
There you go.
I married him, and thinking that I knew him, but I didn't. He's extremely adventuresome. To sit at home, my mother used to say when I'd call her, so what are you doing? I said, well, today we're going, blah, blah, blah. And she says, is there something you and Wes don't like about your house? You never stay home. And so it's just go, go, go. He goes, what are you going to do? I'd like to read a book. Oh, good gosh.
3 years ago,
Why would you want to read a
I got
book?
called by this group to climb Mount Everest. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
And I'm not talking to the summit, but up to the base camp.
Yep.
And she went ballistic. I mean, ballistic. It's like
Would you like to see?
you are not in shape. So I'm
I'm
thinking,
not carrying you off of that mountain.
I'm not bringing you down off that mountain. If you die, listen to this. If you die, you stay there. And this
Well,
is
he didn't have a choice. Oh, by the way, I'm dying. Just leave me here.
so she was so happy. In fact, I was involved in an interview and everything.
Yes, I know.
I mean, this was serious.
Wes, I was right there.
But you were ticked about it. You were angry.
Because I did not want you to die on the mountain. Because you don't think ahead. Oxygen. You remember when you climbed Mount Rainier or Mount, which one? Mitchell? Which one was it?
Mount Rainier.
Uh-huh. Did you have a compass?
No.
And what did the guide tell you?
Said you're a fool if you
Yeah,
show
Phil,
up here without
did you have the right shoes?
cleats. No.
No. Did you have, this is every time. So when he leaves, I'm left in the lodge. I'm going, will I be a widow
But we're
today?
here, hon.
Or will I?
Part of this message has nothing to do with this.
I know.
The point.
Oh, yes, it does. That's a hollow and
No,
Go.
the point being is
oh,
that
you've
we're
gotten serious.
well, we've been on different pages different times.
Well, it sounds like we are right now.
We're on different pages, and that can cause some real problems.
Oh, you look so serious.
I know,
hon.
I'm too serious right now. I'm going to read out of Matthew here, chapter 7, verse 24. It says, "These words I speak to you are not incidental additions to your life, homeowner improvements to your standard of living. They are foundational words." Okay, the solid rabbit, words to build your life on. If you work these words, God's words, into your life, you are like a smart carpenter who built his house on a solid rock. If it's okay with you, I'm going to take some editorial privilege here. Where we see the word house, we're going to put the word marriage or relationship. So if you are a smart person, not stupid, you are going to build your marriage on a solid rock. That's the whole point here. And what Claudia was not alluding to, she got right into it. We see things differently. We see things differently. But what's important here is that our principles are built on something solid and that we can come back to the same point together. He's saying here, rain poured down, the river flooded, a tornado hit, but nothing moved that marriage. It has the word house, but marriage. It was fixed to the rock. But if you just use my words in the Bible studies, you see, you can go to a lot of Bible studies and you can get smarter and smarter and be able to quote verses. And I've had people to do that. I say, just prove to me you're going to live by what you're studying here. And he's saying that. If you just use my words in Bible studies and you don't work them into your life, you are like a stupid carpenter who built his, it says house, but we'll put the word marriage, on the sandy beach, on this hollow rabbit here. And when a storm rolls in, the waves came up and it collapsed like a house of cards. He's saying your marriage will do the same thing. If it's hollow and it's not built on God and godly principles, you can go to church, you can do all the right things, and you can say the right things, he's saying, but when it's solid, it stands. Right now, I'm going to challenge you. Start making solid decisions. Jesus is saying, follow my teachings here. He's saying it in this scripture. In your career, follow my teachings. In your career, follow my teachings in your finances. Follow my teachings in your education. Follow my teachings in your singleness, in your dating, in your marriage, in your parenting. Follow my teachings in your spiritual life. That's what he's saying. Storms are going to come, and storms have come at us. And we're
Just because you believe in Jesus and you're trying to live by his teachings doesn't mean you're not going to have troubles in that time.
right.
Yeah. I mean, just
I
expect
think
it.
some people think, if
Yeah.
I go
What's
to
wrong?
church,
Why is God doing this to me?
he's going to take a pass on me. No, he's
Yeah.
not. You're going to have storms come at your marriage. We've had some real storms come at our marriage, haven't we?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yes, several. We don't always share every one of those storms, but following Christ doesn't mean you get to take a pass.
Right.
And we've tried to follow Christ in our marriage.
Yes.
And we've had some really tough encounters in our marriage, haven't we?
Yes.
I know you don't like to say this, but it's true. It means that when the storms come, you're on solid rock. I've destroyed both bunnies.
Yes,
I
you
wasn't
have.
supposed to do
No,
that.
you weren't.
You don't have to follow Jesus. You can do whatever you want.
And
You can
most
go your
people-
own way.
Most people do.
You can live Monday through Saturday any way you want. And, oh, I'll come to church and I'll do the church thing. And Claudia and I see this a lot. But eventually you'll fall apart and you'll crash, just like this right here. You'll crash. I know you got some good news.
Good news right now. Let's start making solid decisions. Stop making stupid decisions. Start making solid decisions. Play now, pay later. That's hollow. Pay now, play later. Solid.
Let's stop here. We've tried to raise both of our sons who now have their own families and have their
Yes.
own kids, but these were principles that we would follow. We would teach them, guys, you got to work hard now and you can play later. Not play now. I know you were this way with homework.
Yes.
It was like, no, you got to come in, get your homework, and then you can go play ball, right?
Right.
And it made a difference, even though they didn't want to and they thought you're giving cruel and unusual punishment.
Mean mom. I was told.
Same thing with
meanest
your
mom in
marriage. Same
Hudsonville.
thing with your marriage. You got to
Yes.
pay the price. You were the meanest one in
That's what I
Hudsonville.
was told. I said, okay.
Do you still carry that? Do you still believe that?
I think so.
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So get your homework done early. Honor God with your tithes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so very important.
Ask God to show you the shallow things that you're following in your life. Now, this is kind of scary, but there have been times where Claudia and I have just said, God, show us the shallow areas in our lives. Show us the shallow areas in our marriage. Guess what? God will do that. He'll show you the shallow areas in your life. So right now, start making solid decisions. I really mean this. I don't care if you've been married 6 months, 6 years, 40 years. Start making solid decisions starting today. Make the teachings of Jesus non-negotiable. All right. Solid marriage, like the bunny, it's going to weigh more. It's going to cost more. It's
But
going to withstand more.
Yeah.
It's filled up inside with the principles of
Yes.
Jesus. Let's give these non-negotiables here. We're going to put them on the screen. And
Okay.
I'd like for us to kind of finish up with
In the
this.
second happy book, Kevin and Marcia talk about their non-negotiables in their marriage and what they've set up. As we studied that, a lot of are pretty similar in that. So we're going to go through these, and it's just what they are, non-negotiables. The first group is faith non-negotiables. Spend time with God daily. Doesn't say an hour, doesn't say two. It just says spend time with God daily. Go to church and worship God together weekly.
These are principles we follow. We're
Yeah.
giving you our principles here.
Number 3, put God first with finances always. There was a time when we were in college, and we were just talking about this, but I don't know what happened. But
Well, it was in the first part of our marriage after we got out of school.
oh, it wasn't at school?
It was when first part of our marriage.
Yes, okay.
We were maxing credit cards
Yes.
and the whole thing.
Yeah,
And we
to-
weren't
to
honoring
eat.
God.
No, we weren't. So anyway, so what Wes decided to do is that we withheld our tithe to pay this bill,
We haven't told this to very many people till today.
and he had a little notebook
A little journal book.
about this big, and every time he would withhold our tithe, he would put the date and the amount. And once we paid off that credit card, he then went back and added all the money up that we withheld from God, and we paid it back. And I have never forgotten that, because I came from a home there was no such thing as a tithe. I mean, there was no such thing as honoring God whatsoever. And so I marry a man that teaches me what tithing is, and then I watch him in action, that his word is good. And he was faithful to God with his tithe. And I'm telling you, God will bless you. I'm not just talking about a monetary blessing. He will bless you spiritually. He will bless you physically. He will bless your home. He will bless you because you're honoring him first. It's his anyway, but you honor
There's
him
some
first.
family non-negotiables. We've given you a few faith Number one, be intentional about togetherness and staying close. Claudia and I are very intentional about being best buds. I mean this. We are best buds. We'd rather hang out. You'd rather hang out with me than anybody, right?
He's questioning right now.
No, even if it means a bike ride. I just bought her a new bike. But
You just bought me a new bike.
I did. I just bought her a brand new
I
bicycle.
didn't even have to ask for it.
I did. I bought her a brand new bike,
Yes.
and it's all ready for
it's
her in
ready
the garage.
for me to ride.
But we're together, man. We like to hike
Yeah, we
together. We
do.
like to do things together. We like to float down the river together. We like to do a lot of
Are
crazy.
you hearing all this?
And occasionally,
we like to do?
I'll stop and I'll read a book with you. Yeah, you know that's true. You know that's true. I did last year. I read part of a book with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I was driving and you were reading the book in the car.
I was reading.
And I
okay.
was listening to
Yes,
the book.
Okay.
But staying close, it's
We
a
are
matter
close,
of, yeah,
yes.
we've been intentional about that.
Yeah. Date night, dudes. Don't forget date night. Oh, well, I don't have any money.
This
Yeah,
is
you
one
do.
of the joys of being empty nesters. You can have a date like 4 or 5 nights a week, which is what we do now, 4 or 5 dates a night. 4 or 5
No. Oh.
nights. 4 or 5 nights.
Oh, boy.
Help me here.
Just stay with, let's go back to the list. Yeah, right here.
Make speaking the truth in love sacred. You know, this is a hard one here. Do you want to do this one?
No, I'll let you.
No, I was going to ask you to do it.
Oh, okay.
This is one that a lot of couples have trouble being truthful.
You know, I listened to a couple, I think last night or yesterday afternoon, on a video sharing their marriage. And because I was looking at it for this series, and their struggle was being truthful with each other. And that just, I said to him, am I hearing this right?
Yeah, you were hearing it right.
The whole thing was about, the husband, I decided I needed to share this with her. And then she would say, well, you know, I hid that from him and I decided to share.
This is foundational. If truth is not one of the bedrocks of your marriage, you're already in trouble. I don't care how painful it is. I'm going to talk to you now a little bit more like a counselor. You've got to be truthful. You've got to be truthful about your past. You've got to be truthful about your present. And it may be painful. There have been some moments and things that I've had in my life. It was very painful for me to look at Claudia in the eye and say, "Hun, I was wrong and I got to confess this to you." It didn't take us further apart from each other. It brought us closer together. It was painful at the moment to share the truth. But truth is sacred. And we're watching a lot of marriages. I'm talking in church.
Yeah.
Talking in church. People
Yes.
go to church. They're playing games with each other. They'll come and tell me something and I'll look at them and say, "Have you shared this with your wife?" Well, no. My friend, you better sit down really quick and have a come to truth moment with your wife. "Well, I'm afraid we're in trouble if I do that." Well, you're already in trouble. You're doing this number right here. You're building it on hollow principles. You've got to get truthful. When your wife or your husband knows that you are honest, that you're truthful. Now, you do it in love. Look at the word love up there. You do this in love, honey. I feel like I've been wrong in this area of my life. Do it in love. Be patient. Listen. Let the other person respond to you. I like number 3.
Okay. Have the guts to commit and complete the climb.
They're like the bike ride.
Yes. Okay. Number 5.
No.
no,
There
no,
is
no.
no number 5 here.
Well, my numbers are all screwed up anyway. What number are we on?
Well, we're on number 3. Have the guts to commit and complete the climb.
Okay.
Something as parents that we've done with our sons, and I want to say this to parents here and parents to be. When you give your child a task, when you give them a task, do you stay with them? Do you stay with them and make sure they carry that task out? You remember the time, this one said yes back there.
That's sweet.
I didn't know they were already a parent.
Just
That sounded like a
precious.
very young voice.
It does.
But you remember the day with one of our children, I said, "I'd like for you to wash the car." It took 3 washings before it got close to
I'm
being,
done now, Dad.
would come
Big
back
swipe
in and
of
say
dirt.
he was done. But the message was, if you're going to wash the car, you do it right the first time. In our marriage, we've got this stuff going on where we're going to do it right. We're not quitting. We're not giving up on our marriage. When it gets kind of in the wilderness, we're going to stay with it, right?
Right.
So I'm saying to you guys, this is a principle that you need to consider adopting in your own marriage. You make a gutsy decision that no matter what storm comes your way, you are going to take the mountain. You're going to take the mountain. That's why I like to climb mountains. That's why I like to do hikes, because they're tough and they're not easy. And when you're carrying 50 pounds on your back plus your own body weight and you get to 12,000 and you can feel gravity at work, you go, I could quit, turn around and go back down, or I could keep on going to the summit and to be able to declare a victory here. We made a decision early in our marriage. We were not going to quit. We were going to take the mountain together. It's going to be tough. That is called guts. That's called guts. Teach your children to have guts. If it's sports, you don't quit. You go do the workout. You show up at the practice. You make sure that you put everything you've got into it. Parents, that's why I say to parents on bringing your kids to church, make sure they're in Hip Town. Make sure they're in Fuel and Flood. I remember both of our boys went through this. We're not coming to youth program. Yeah, you are. You're going. Well, you're gonna make us sick and tired of God in the church. They did every number you can imagine. And guess what? They're doing the same thing to their kids now. We just go, you remember? No, they forgot. It's gutsy when you do that. It's gutsy. But you got to do it. Do it with your marriage here. And then the last one here, number 4, demonstrate God's love by a caring hearts, serving others, giving money to others. And I just want to say something here on the serving others. I heard the other day a person said, well, I'm still coming to Daybreak, but I don't serve anymore. And I go, did Jesus just stop and not go onto the cross and die for you? Did he just say, well, I'm up here at the cross right now, but I'm just going to stop everything right now, and I'm not going to sacrifice my life and serve you? What kind of speak is that? Where you make that kind of a comment, I question where you are in relationship with Jesus and what he's done for you. And I got to tell you right now, I'm very bothered by some of the things I'm hearing among so-called Christians. Well, I'm tired of serving. What if Jesus would have taken that attitude? I'm tired of serving. I'm tired of giving my life for you. He laid his life down for you and for Claudia and for me and for every one of us. Folks, that's service, and that's something that needs to be demonstrated in your life every day. And the last one here is giving. I learned this very early as a kid, watching my parents give money away all the time. I'm not talking about their church offerings. I've watched my wife many times. I'll say, how much money did you give those people? And she'll kind of like get quiet and she'll say, well, I had $100 in my billfold. I gave them the $100. More than once, we've been to a restaurant, didn't even know the family sitting at the next table, and we just felt impressed. That family needs to have their meal paid for. We've done that often. We don't do it to say, hey, give us praise. Serve, give, love. And I got to tell you, when you lead your marriage like that, your marriage is going to be built on solid principles. Solid principles. So which bunny are you? Well, both of them look in bad shape here. Which bunny are you going to be? This one? A lot of marriages are like this now. Or a solid one? We're going to pray, and after that, we're going to finish with a great song. Lord, right now, I pray for every person in this auditorium, every person listening right now on our online service. And I pray that there will be a spiritual awakening that will take place right now in marriages across the land. God, you know that the pandemic has wreaked havoc on our homes. We know right now of several marriages that are in trouble right now. Even in our church, the pandemic has caused some bad stuff to creep into their lives and into their relationships. And God, we're praying right now that the power of God would just permeate
Yes, Jesus.
and do something unbelievable. That we would have the guts to adopt a solid foundation starting today,
Yes.
and not play this stupid game of following the empty bunny, but go with the solid bunny. Lord, right now, I just pray across our church and across the online church that there be a supernatural working of you in home after home right now. And wherever you're at, just say, God, we're sorry of playing these games with each other and with our marriage. We're giving it all to you, and we're going right now, starting today, we're going to stop being stupid, and we're going to start following the principles of Jesus, and we're going to place those in this bunny and have a solid relationship.
Yes, Jesus.
In Jesus' name, listen to this song right now.